हाय दिस इज सौम्या सरकार फ्रॉम वेल्थ रिडिफाइन। मैं आज इस बारे में वीडियो बनाऊंगा जिसको देख के आपको समझ में आएगा कि कितना पैसा इक्विटी और कितना पैसा डेट में सही तरीके से रखना चाहिए। सो व्हेन द मार्केट वाज डाउन, लॉट ऑफ पीपल वर एजिटेटेड अबाउट द इक्विटी इन्वेस्टमेंट and they wanted to move their money to debt. Now usually what happens is when you have a equity, it is actually a very high risk portfolio. So obviously you should have a proper balance in the portfolio. Now there will be three scenarios to it. So number one thumb rule which a lot of people follow is a 100 minus your age. This is a very common one. What is common is that 100 minus your age should be in equity. Let's say you are right now is in the 45. So you should have approximately 55% money in the equity, rest 45% money in the debt. So that means 100 minus your age is considered to be one of the easiest way of calculating the equity investment returns. But if we are talking about the other scenarios, let's say scenario 2 or scenario 3, it is mostly based on the life cycle. Let's say if you have a life cycle, you are in the 20s at this point of time, 20s to 30s. Obviously 100 minus 20 is 80% should be in debt, equity, and 20% would be in debt. But other way also, when you are in the 20s or 30s, you should actually invest more into equity. Even if you're holding approximately 100% money in equity, then there is no harm as well. Because if you hold the equity, it actually helps you to multiply it. When you are up to 30, 40, 45, you may hold approximately 70 to 80% money in equity because equity multiplies fast. Now when you are on a certain age, let's say 60 and above, 65, 70, then you can start holding the money more in debt because you don't want to move into a wealth creation mode. You are mostly of a wealth preservation mode. So number 2 scenario ideally would be based on the life cycle. And third scenario would be your income cycle. Let's say you are earning a very small amount of money. Let's say if you are earning 20,000 rupees a month. In that case, you would not be able to take the risk to put the money into equity because you may need it at any given point of time based on the emergency. So if you do not have an emergency corpus, or if you do not have a very high kind of a savings, then obviously it is better to balance it out. You should have an emergency corpus and then you can move some money into equity. It is an option of equity and debt and your income. Now the thing is that let's say you have an income of 10 lakh rupees a month. So obviously you can easily put 5 lakh rupees into equity, even whatever age you are, because it doesn't matter much to you because 5 lakhs would be good enough to take care of your emergency as well as your family expenses. So when the income actually multiply or income goes very high, your risk appetite also goes up despite your age maybe 30, 40, 50, 60 or something like that. But ideally a person should have both the option available, equity and debt. But when your money is too much, you can play with the equity very fast. Now there is another scenario as well. Suppose if this kind of fall happened when the US-Iran war came in that case, you must have an appetite to put the money into equity because the market is cheap and at that time you can make the money. But having some dry powder in the portfolio helps you at this point of time. Suppose a person having a lot of money doesn't require any emergency fund or doesn't require anything, but if he has the money available, he can use this dip to put the money and multiply his return. So these are the very likely scenario happens when you have a portfolio. But in the portfolio, a person should have something in debt and something in majority in equity if it permits. But ignoring the debt completely or ignoring the equity completely may not be a right choice of investment because you require equity to multiply your wealth, you require debt to safeguard your wealth. But as the ages goes up and the real scenario comes in, you should have some money allocated in debt as well as in equity. But in a young time, probably 20s, 30s, 40s, you should have more money in equity. But at the age of 70s, 80s, 90s, you must have a lesser money in the equity and more of a debt because you are in a wealth preservation. But it all depends upon what is your income level, what is your comfort level, what is your emergency fund, and how your risk appetite. I have seen a lot of clients who have with the 70s and 80s having a very big amount in the equity because they have the comfort level of safety with them beforehand. So that is one of the major reasons how you should allocate. But allocation should always depend upon your risk appetite and what is your financial advisor suggest. If you can give your financial advisor a proper goal or a proper emergency requirement or how to do it, how to multiply it, he or she can allocate the funds accordingly. Please do not take this video as a considerable thing for investing. It depends upon please talk to your financial advisor and it depends upon your risk appetite. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any queries regarding this asset allocation thing, Please let us know on the comment. Please subscribe to our channel and like the video. We'll come up with this kind of learning videos on a regular basis. Thank you.